We are live.
What does it mean to have unshakable faith? What does unshakable faith even mean? What does faith mean? I looked it up. Webster Dictionary.
And before we begin, let's just, warm up because people have to tune in yet. So, yeah, we're going to talk about something that's very dear to us. So maybe we start with a little path. How did we come to this point? Because then people can tune in, and we have already a few people watching. So, what is our path? When did we really start to believe that we need to believe something bigger than ourselves? What do you think? What was for you the turning moment?
I think it was when I was a little girl.
Okay.
And I realized that I was so much more than just this little person that I was on the outside. How about you?
But what happened? I mean, little girl, more, but what was your belief then? What happened?
Well, faith means that we have trust in religious doctrines, in concepts, without having proof for it. And interestingly enough, the opposite of faith is actually not only mistrust, but mistake. I did not know that. So before we hopped on this Facebook Live, I actually looked it up and I said, okay, what does faith mean? And what does it actually mean to have unshakable faith? And why are our own beliefs so important for that? So when I was a little girl, realizing that there was more to me than just this physical body, which was at that time maybe, the size of a 5-year-old, was huge, because I realized at the same moment that I am never alone, and that it's about what's happening inside of this body, my thoughts, my feelings, that joy, if I could find it or not, that made all the difference from being either, feeling like a victim in life or feeling like my own hero. So that little moment when I was just 5 years old and I was sitting in the woods, because that was where I loved, and I still love being most, and I was sitting under this big old tree and there was moss growing over the roots, I realized, wow, I could see fairies. I build these fairy homes, right? And I just saw all these energies around me, and they always gave me so much peace and so much inspiration that was kind of where I discovered that faith really deeply resides inside of me. So when I lost faith, and I have many times in life had moments where I really lost faith in myself, lost faith in the path that I was in. I was thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm just making mistake after mistake. Why does it have to be so hard, right? Those were also the moments when I realized that faith that we have inside of us can really grow when we exercise it. But if we never challenge ourselves, if we never put ourselves out there and really expand that belief of who we are and how big we are or how small we are, then we'll never get there, right? Because we will never move outside of our comfort zone or whatever we want to call it. So I think unshakable faith is really grown in moments of distress, despair, and challenge. And we can then nurture that faith with a ton of self-love, because when we are able to tune into ourselves, when we give ourselves that space to do something that just feels good for us, that feels right, then we really expand our own energy field, and we expand that identity of who we think we are. How about you?
Take a deep breath. First of all, we want to welcome all of you that are now looking, and we have a lot of Dutch people. So the word
Hi, Sandra.
Faith, what can we use the word faith? I think in Dutch is like vertrouwen, geloof, and diep vertrouwen. And that's what we're talking about, that really deep faith in us. And when you were talking, I was, of course, back in my own youth, but I think in that time it was like normal. There was no, what can you say? There was no distrust, right?
There was no doubt in yourself.
There was no doubt. It was just, this is the normal world. And I think at some point we grow up and we lose that connection with this other world. And as a child, being in a kind of a brain damage situation, I also had these beings around me. But it was normal. It was not like there was no other reality than that. So I trusted, and of course, late in life, you lose it many times, like you said. So we have quite several similar experiences. For me, one thing that shifted a lot of things was when I had this car accident and I was thrown outside of my body, and I realized then, I was then like 20, 21, that there was more. That was the first time I realized there was more, but I did not do a lot with it at the time. It was there, and it gave me a kind of I think it gave me the motivation to look for answers. So I think my spiritual quest began there. You said something in the beginning. Can you repeat that? What's the definition of faith?
It's complete trust
Complete
in something
trust.
or someone,
Mm-hmm.
or strong beliefs in the doctrines of religion, programming, conditioning of society, media, parents, based on connection, a spiritual connection rather than proof. So when we have unshakable faith, we're not waiting for proof. We have it before proof comes. So if we're not tuned into our unshakable faith, then we'll only be able to learn from the past by looking into the past and connecting the dots, right? And then saying, oh, because of this happened, because of that happened, right? So then we can see the path. But when we have unshakable faith, we not only have more confidence in our own choices, but we're also able to kind of see the path ahead of time, because we're creating our life rather than experiencing the results of maybe not so good choices and sometimes great choices, right?
Yeah, I have a saying that I want to share. So in the end, everything will be great, or everything will be good. If it ain't good, it is ain't the end. So and I like this. So that's also part of Unshakable Faith, knowing that the direction you're going in life will at some point bring you to a place where you're going to be totally happy, fulfilled. It's like having that trust. And I think what the power of faith does, it gives us this kind of extra force when we're down, when things are not working out the way we want to work out. I think that's where faith can be very helpful.
Well, I think faith is what actually keeps us going. It's actually the motivation in those moments of darkness, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've been there. I mean, since we've met 8 years ago, now we had our moments of darkness. We had our moments where...
absolutely. Don't we all, right?
Totally. Well, some people believe we're lucky and our life is just easy.
You think so?
Some people do, really do. But we had our moments where I almost felt like you were being tested on faith. Do you really believe, or can you go back into your state of despair? I think we had those moments as well.
I do. I totally agree with you. And I think it's in those uncertain moments that we need faith most.
Absolutely.
But it still seems so elusive in those times, right?
Yeah.
So what if we knew that when we're being tested, it's actually just to show us something that's even greater than where we are right now? What if we were able to see that? Okay,
so here's a tip for everybody to really make note. So just think about it. So the moment you feel like something is happening that you don't like, what if you would think, oh, I am being tested now. This is for me a moment where I can stand up and...
where I can show my greatness.
Exactly. Instead of seeing it as bad luck, or seeing it like you always say, it doesn't happen, it happens to you, but it happens for you.
Well, yeah,
That's
if we can see it that way, right, then we can see it as a beautiful challenge, and we can say, oh wow, how could I make this most fun? So that is what I discovered makes the entire difference between being a victim and a victor. It's the entire difference of the experience. Can I see it as a challenge that I can grow in, or is it going to be a challenge that I choose to surrender to and succumb to? Because I think there's one thing that came to mind for me. We might be we might not be indestructible, but I do believe we are invincible.
Okay, I like that.
So I noticed that, unshakable faith in self, that confidence that you're making the right decision, is so important in so many areas of our lives, right? Not only in relationships, am I with the right guy or with the right girl? Should I stay? Should I go? In business, should I be hiring someone? Should I be firing someone? Am I doing the right thing? Because I believe we as human beings, we want to do the right thing. We really do. And we always try to, right? So unshakable faith also comes in when we actually look at other people and relationships to other people and say, how well do I know the other person? What can I trust in them? And where do I know that I can't trust them? Because I know their, their needs, their personality well enough. So I feel unshakable faith is what we need to be able to develop any kind of connection to our intuition. Because if I don't trust myself, who am I going to trust? Right?
Yeah. And it is something that you said that really stood out to me, because you are saying in a way that trust is not all across the board. So you can trust a person in a certain way, but not trust them in another way. And some people want to trust people for the full 100%.
Well, no. I think we want to trust that another person thinks exactly like we do.
Absolutely.
But you see, that can never be that way. We don't know what's going on in the other person's head. We don't know what kind of experiences they've had unless we really know someone. And even then, I mean, look at relationships. We can think we know someone inside and out. But if we don't know exactly what they believe in, what for them is true, then we will never be able to know whether our beliefs are in any way aligned. And then the question is, do our beliefs need to be aligned to have a happy, healthy relationship? Do we have to believe the same thing?
That's an interesting question.
Isn't it?
And I truly believe that, if I look at fate in a relationship, and let's use the same definition, we have faith that everything is going to work out. We have faith that every challenge in a way is to make us strong and to make us grow. Then when we're challenged the most, that's when we're invited to grow the most. That's one way. And if I just take the recent experiment I did was in Suriname, where I had to have unshakable faith and we're going to come out okay.
And that you'd find what you wanted to.
And that was, in that moment, you don't think about what you're going to find. You're going step by step into the unknown, where you're challenged with your darkest fears. And for me, in those moments, it was having like a connection to you, to grace, was like my how we call it, my saving,
my beacon,
that I know if I can keep that focus, I'm going to come out all right. And that was my faith that. And for me, it was that love is stronger than darkness.
That's a good thing to remember and to maybe write down. Maybe someone can write it in the comments.
Yeah.
Love is stronger than darkness. And it's true, right? Even physics tells us this. Love is the strongest frequency on this planet. So who are we to constantly doubt that love? But we do, right?
No, of course
we have all these things going on, and that's something I'd like to segue into, is that I discovered there's such a strong connection between the depth of our unshakable faith and the amount of empowered beliefs we hold true about ourselves. Because if we have negative self-talk going on, if we don't really believe that we are worthy, if we don't believe that we are free, if we don't believe that we deserve a life in happiness and health and with ease, then we will unconsciously keep recreating situations to prove that's right? Because we're living in a quantum multiverse. So in that multiverse, everything is possible. Whatever you believe is true is true. So in our upcoming workshop, we're going to be really looking at the beliefs that we all hold true for ourselves and look at, do these beliefs really still support me? Are they aligned with where I want to go in life? So think about, or ponder on, and maybe even take notes on the beliefs that you hold true to yourselves right now that maybe are not aligned with a happy relationship, a great business, a healthy body. And then notice how that might be sabotaging you way more than you think is possible. So I really feel so happy that we're able to do this. I call it a personal retreat, that we're able to create this setting for people to be able to join, not only in person, but also, from the comfort of your own home, where you can make that reality check and check in with yourself and say, okay, if I'm really honest right now, and I look at all areas of my life, where am I not feeling that unshakable faith? And where do I constantly doubt myself? And where am I maybe recreating patterns and making mistakes, the opposite of faith, right, that are unnecessary?
And just for some people, because we also see that people also already can sign up for, it's 6 and 7 of March. So what is just the one thing that people are going to take home for sure? What is it that after these 2 days with us that you can say, this is one of the things that we're going to take home with? What would you want to give them?
I will give you together with you. We will give you. You will give yourself. That's the best one, right? You will give yourself the beauty and glory and joy of alignment. Because what we'll do is we'll make sure that you have all your core beliefs, those beliefs that we all need to hold true as a human being, that serve you, aligned with your unshakable faith. So you can really walk out of the doors saying, I have unshakable faith in the ability of my body to heal. I have unshakable faith in myself to overcome challenges with grace, ease, and joy. I have unshakable faith in my ability to create joyful, peaceful, harmonious, loving relationships. I have unshakable faith in my ability to create beautiful, expansive, loving, wise relationships, business decisions. We will make sure that you are aligned with all the areas of life in this sector of having unshakable faith, because we discovered that unshakable faith is really that first step you have to take to be aligned with your intuition, with your highest wisdom, your highest self, whatever name you want to give it, right? You have to first know, yes, you're worthy of it. And yes, you deserve to do this.
Right, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. She was crying and saying, no man loves me, nobody loves me. Oh. And I always, I don't even feel attractive anymore. And it was, the drama that sometimes we all have to go through, and we feel so dark and so rejected and all of that. And so I asked the question, okay, so what if the true one is still coming? What if it's in the future? If I look at us, there are many times where I thought, well, it never is going to happen.
Well, I'm not going to happen?
No, that I will not find that one, one person that I can grow old with, and so on. And the one that you want to be. And no, it happened when I was quite old. I mean, let's put it this way. I was like...
You're so young, sweetheart.
Yeah. I was 50 plus, let me put it this way. Then it happened. So my whole thing is that we cannot determine the right moment. But if we do have faith that it will happen, we at least will keep ourselves, in a kind of a tractor beam to that. But we are not the one deciding the right moment. But it's having the faith that will eventually bring us to the result that we desire. Okay,
so here's what I see. I see when we have unshakable faith, we vibe at a different level.
Absolutely.
We are more confident, we're happier, we feel more aligned with our purpose, we're just vibing at a higher vibration. If we now align our thoughts, what we think of most of the time, with what we really want, with that burning heart's desire of, for instance, having that soulmate at our side to share life with, then the universe has to answer. It's physics, right? Because we're vibing here, and at some point we're vibing the same level as with what we want, and woohoo, synchronicity happens, miracles. So that is what actually is happening when we have these déjà vus, when we have these flashes of I think, joy, of realizing, wow, I dreamt of this sometime and now it is happening.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to point out something else.
Go for it.
I even wrote it down.
Okay. Now she's wrote it down.
So,
it's important.
Yeah, it's right. It's really important. So would you agree that we cannot change someone else's beliefs? So we've said how important empowering beliefs of self are, right? And empowering thoughts are. Would you agree that it is impossible to change someone else's beliefs?
I would say I've tried many times. I have not succeeded yet.
Is that so?
Yeah, I have not succeeded to change someone's beliefs if they don't have the ultimate desire to want to change that.
That is the point that I discovered as well. We can only change someone else's beliefs. And by the way, we do it the whole time in workshops because people are coming in with a desire to change, with a desire to be more aligned with their happier selves, right? So when another person has a desire to change a belief because they realize that what they're holding true is no longer serving them, it's actually hurting them, right? Then change is possible. And that we have seen happen again and again and again. And the beauty of that is that then it starts unfolding in their own lives and they start getting happier and healthier and more successful and all that good stuff. So that is something, interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then for everyone watching now, what we're sharing is, of course, from our experience, and we've been up and down like everybody else. And, if this is of value to you, please share this also with your friends, because we think this is a very important subject. Because
right now.
Right. All the things that we are going through in life, we will be confronted with hardship, losing friends or being rejected or getting sick, sometimes even getting cancer, terminal diseases. And what I found out as a holistic doctor, that when I can instill that faith back, I can get that laser focus back again.
When someone believes they can heal, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Then our chances are so much better. And that's why Joy and I, we worked our ways towards becoming that Unshakable Faith, to be part of it. And we want for 2 days to share with you exactly what we've been doing in order to have that power inside of us. So when you go home, or if you watch on live stream in this workshop, that you know that at the end of the workshop, something in you have shifted, because we all have our blocks. We all have our experiences. And for that reason, the thing that we did in the last couple of years is just keep working on ourselves in order to establish that Unshakable Faith. And we want to share this with the world. So we would like to invite you as well to come to this workshop, and then to really, for 2 days, or to watch on live stream, because everything is also the same on live stream. So we can share with you what we've learned and how we are so sure about ourselves now. We were not born with this. It didn't happen.
You didn't come out confident.
No. This has been a lot of work, but now we understand it. We can make it easier for others to shift their faith much faster. I think that's the gift that we want to give to everyone.
Well, and to experience the change. So I think, the other little piece that's missing in wanting to change beliefs is having the experience. When you experience the change in yourself, there's no doubt there. And the thing we need for that is the willingness to step out of, I call it the buzz, stepping out of our busy lives, our jobs, our kids, and all the roles that we play, and to really make time to work on self. And that's why I prefer calling it a retreat, because a workshop sounds like it's like, work. But what we do is we talk about fun stuff, just like now, and then we make it real personal. Every person there or on live stream will be able to identify the areas where they're blocking themselves more, the areas they want to improve more. So it becomes a really personal experience that we can then deepen in our meditations. We call them quantum journeys, right? Where we take you through brain reprogramming sessions, where we really work on the neuro-linguistic programming of beliefs, of everything we know from hypnosis, right? Everything we've learned in our, how many years together? I mean, we've been together for 8 years, but our experience, I've got like 20 years, you've got
40.
45, something like that, right? So we have 65 years of experience in changing people's beliefs to the better, right? So that we can all live on a healthier and more joyful planet. So having that experience in a retreat or workshop is really so special, because you're sharing the space with all like-minded or like-hearted people who are all on the same quest. And when we connect our energies and we hold space for each other in meditative journeys, where some people meditate for the first time in their lives, right? They say, oh wow, my brain is so relaxed, I'm able to think clear again. Then that is the first step, right?
Absolutely.
That willingness to say, okay, what if I don't know? And what if I could just let go of all my busyness and I could give myself a day or two of me time?
I have a question for you, because a lot of people are talking about positive thinking. So what would be for you the difference between positive thinking, everything is great, and faith? What would you
Well, with faith, I know. With positive thinking, I've got to think positive. That I'm not thinking positive, because I must have been thinking negative first to notice that, oh, I need to think positive. When I have faith, it's a natural, automatic programming. And I used to have terrible self-talk. So my self-talk was, I think, amongst the worst on this planet. My driving question was always, what the fuck is wrong with me? How am I doing this? Why am I making mistake after mistake? Why is life so painful? Why is this all happening, right? And then I really, bit by bit, with a lot of work, right? I really invested heavily in myself and in all the trainings that I've done. I was able to really reprogram the way I talk to myself. And that was a huge part of creating a more joyful life. So I was not always as joyful as I am now.
Yeah. Because, when we talk about positive talk, I have a lot of time that it's like superficial. People are optimistic, everything will turn out right.
Or that forceful kind of, everything's great.
Yeah. and what I've experienced, and I know you experience the same, it's deeper. I think that Unshakable Faith we're talking about is, you said it's a knowing. It is not in your head. When I point to my heart and not to my head.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it's here. It is a knowing that you cannot know, but you trust the knowing, and because you trust the knowing, you are creating and you're aligning yourself, you said beautifully, with that future where that is that you're going for. I think when we look at it from the quantum science, it's exactly fitting what we're telling with the quantum science as we know it right nowadays.
I agree. Do you agree? You got something on your notes.
Yeah. I wrote down a note. Faith is like a laser beam that aligns everything else, so that it shines through the darkness. It shines through the tough moments. So because it's directing you to go where your soul wants to go, where you need to go. And for me that was being very, very helpful. Especially now, I'm just recently back from Suriname. I think that the Unshakable Faith that we worked so many years on, that got me through everything. And having that laser beam that when I go back, I'm still me. I'm not this weirdo that's now crazy.
Sure?
Or the old weirdo.
So we are inviting you cordially to join us for 2 days of unlocking your unshakable faith. And we'd like to take you on journeys to times where you already had it. Because here's the thing, this conditioning that we have can only come from 3 places, right? It's either created in this life, so we had it in childhood, and it's usually the first 7 years, or it was created in a past life, whether you believe it or not, you bring in more than you are just right now, or it could be passed down to you genealogically, which means that we see these patterns in families where whole, strands of ancestors have cancer, whole strands are suffering from depression. What if those beliefs that you hold true to yourself are also just handed down? Wouldn't that make it so much easier to release them and to check in and say, okay, so let's say I want to attract this amazing new mission in life. I want to have, a healing center. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a healer. Whatever it is that you want to be, or soulmate, right? What if you could align your thoughts and your beliefs with that goal. Wouldn't it go faster? Could you believe that life would be a touch more easeful? Rather than sometimes we're run by the conditioning of what our mom always used to say, or our dad, or ancestor, you know?
And we have great news, because when you watch a live stream, you can invite friends. You know, so it's even, you see, save on travel, you can have friends over, you can share the cost.
It's also less egotistical.
Absolutely.
Share the fun.
Yeah. Pass it on. And with live stream, you have 3 months that you can watch in your own pace. And so if you cannot on 6 or 7, you still have full access to everything. And if you want to come to Arnhem, where we are, it's a very...
It's pretty. It's such a pretty location.
It's a nice church, but we don't have a lot of space. So please inscribe as soon as possible. And if, you know, full is full, then you can always join us for live stream. We know that there will be a big shift in your life, because the techniques that we're using, they work for us.
They're proven. They're tested.
Absolutely. So don't wait too long, because, I would say...
We're looking for the perfect gang for this. And just because you're online right now might be that sign that you were waiting for, that now really is your time to make your wildest heart's desires true. Because if those desires are there, they're there for a reason. And we'd like you to have that faith in yourself again to pursue those heart's desires. Because what happens when we pursue our heart's desires?
Then we get more things to be grateful for.
Well, and we're usually happier because we're doing what we love. So by doing what we love and having faith in that is right, we're automatically creating more abundance, more ease in life, and we really want that for you too. So join us.
We hope to see you, and I think we said what we want to say, right?
Yeah, are there any questions? If not, we will sign off. So scroll down. Whoops!
What happened?
No, something happened. I think you might have kicked us out.
No,
there we go. Rotate your phone.
I can't rotate your phone. I'm just looking at it.
Oh my. Okay, so... Wait, look, I can read... Oh, it's all Dutch. Wie wil delen in Hasselt?
That's people asking for live stream buddies in there.
Oh yeah,
so
share the live stream tickets.
Right,
Such a good idea.
Yeah.
So much more fun if you make it your own healing retreat. So you invite friends in, you put some nice oils out, right? Then you could have your favorite music running. You can dance with us in the breaks. Super idea. I love that. What else is coming?
Jammer overnachten is ook mogelijk voor diegene. Some is saying that they also have a place you can stay and sleep. But anyway, thank you guys.
Also Airbnb is for sure.
Yeah, we are upside down, but we love
right
you.
There.
We love you, and hope to see you on live stream or in Arnhem. Bye bye.
Mille baci, 1000 kussen.
How did that happen?
That's so funny.
Okay. Okay, and I just want to finish.
Loves you too much.
Get tickets. Okay, I'm still upside down. Here, take your phone. Recording. Okay, finish.
Okay.
Happy to see you then. See you. Okay, what's this?
Will I be channeling that too? One question was?
Of course, we always channel, don't we?
Channeling
okay,
is
guys.
Your English is, I'm sure, good enough, lieve Bellen.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Tiny. Bye, Jacqueline.
And... Good night to you too. See you tomorrow at City.
So can I do something?
Of course you can.
You're still on then?
Yeah,